Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The state is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. It was properly noticed and has been posted and canceled, certified. Fire exit by the door you came in, and that door. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Here.
Mr. Padula.
Here.
Ms. Roberts. Here. Mr. Schindler.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Here.
Mayor Francis.
Please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight, we're going to start with some proclamations. That's the fun part. And we actually have three tonight. And the first one I'm going to do is the Hopatcong Chief Marching Band. So I'll come down there and do it. And if you all want to come up here, or some of you, or whoever, you can come on up and I'll read your proclamation. Yep. So here we go. Whereas the Hopatcong Chief Marching Band consists of 50 student musicians, grades 8 through 12 from the Hopatcong High School, and whereas the band can be found at every varsity football game and also town and county events, including parades and celebrations. And whereas the marching band performed at the events listed below, Happy Birthday and Smokey the Bear Campfire Song for the Smokey Bear 75th birthday at Liberty State Park on August 10th. The national anthem at Somerset Patriots, August 28th. At 10 high school varsity football games, pregame, halftime, and or in the stands, September through November. At the Warriors Pep Rally, September 8th. The national anthem for the Hopatcong Hawks opening day, September 21st. At the Food Truck Festival, September 28th. At Randolph Under the Stars Band Festival, first in division, earning awards for Best Music, Best Visual, Best Color Guard, and Best Percussion on October 5th. At the 99th Annual Sussex County Firemen's Parade, first place, Best Appearing Band, October 5th. At the Hopatcong Halloween Parade in costume, October 13th. At the New Jersey Music Educators Association State Band Festival, silver rating, recognized for outstanding saxophone section and ballet feature, October 19th. At the high school pep rally, October 25th. At West Point, with other area bands and West Point Cadet Band for a halftime show at the Army football game versus San Jose State, October 26th. At the Sussex County Veterans Day Parade at Sussex County Fairgrounds, November 3rd. Now therefore, I, Michael Francis, Mayor of the Borough of Hopatcong, do hereby proclaim December 5th, 2019 as the Hopatcong Chief Marching Band Day in the Borough of Hopatcong. Please stand up. Because you all deserve a big round of applause. Heard in the proclamation. It's outstanding. It's just amazing what you all do and can do. And remember, you're always capable of more. You are. As great as you are, I think that as you move forward, you're going to be even better. So I know it's a lot of hard work. And like I always say, when we recognize any of our youth, if it wasn't for your parents, you wouldn't be there. You know, when you first remember when you first got your instrument or when you first chose it. It was a big decision. And guess who helped you with that? Mom and Dad, because they weren't cheap. Most of them anyway. And so, unless you bought a pair of, but you know, saxophone, trumpet, they're crazy with the cost of them. And so, as you move forward, you really look back on its experience, and it helps make you a better person, a more rounded person, and it shows you what teamwork really does. I think that's one of the important things that you learn as a band member. You can't win all these awards without being a team. You just can't do it. So you're a well-oiled machine when you're on that field. You look good, you act good, and you play nice music. And I think you were recognized for that. So I'll remember as you move forward that this is just one step in your life, that the band and music help you with your discipline. It helps you learn who you really are and what you really like. And that's what music does for you. So, I can't read a note of music, so I envy you. So, people that can read music to me it's like another language, and it's so talented. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you do for the town, the image you give the town, and our school, and yourself. And so thank you again. And would anybody like to speak?
Sure.
Come on.
I would just like to say that, everybody in the band also participates in several other things throughout the year, like holiday ensemble, jazz band, pep band, kid orchestra, on the stage, whatever, what have you. And we're performing several things this month as well. We have Guys and Dolls auditions for the musical coming up. We have a holiday ensemble concert tomorrow at St. Jude's. And then on Saturday, we're playing at the Weinkens Market thing, the German thing. That thing. In the morning. And then on Sunday, we're playing in Flanders for Toys for Tots. And on Monday, we're playing at Byram ShopRite. Get some produce. On the 13th, we're playing for Pictures with Santa at Pesto Flowers, and we have a concert the night before that, so come see that. Then we're playing, the jazz band is playing at the Night of Hope on that Saturday at night, because that's when the Night of Hope happens. And then we play at the high school tree lighting, the Skylands Light Spectacular, and then we have a pet band game on the Friday before we go on vacation. So it's all very exciting. We do tons of things throughout the year, and I think that helps bring us together because we stay together throughout the year.
And don't miss it. These guys are good. I'm telling you. You won't be sorry you went. I guarantee you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sure. Come on. Got it.
Hold
I love technology.
on. Can you just go stand with the other kids?
Meeting's adjourned, right? Wait,
Got it?
Okay, got it.
Okay, my next one. My next proclamation is recognizing our 125 years of service for the New Jersey State Federation of Women's Clubs. Whereas the New Jersey Federation of Women's Clubs, NJSFWC, a member of the General Federation of Women's Clubs, GFWC, is the oldest and one of the largest community service organizations for women in the state, dedicated to strengthening communities and enhancing the lives of others through volunteer service. And whereas approximately 150 women representing 36 clubs from all over the state met in Union Hall in Orange, New Jersey on November 16, 1894, with the intent of establishing a federation of New Jersey clubs, electing a president and forming a committee to prepare a constitution. And whereas the NJSFWC grew and continued to grow rapidly, using their membership to effect change to better their communities and state, including saving the Palisades from commercial destruction in 1897, and again in 2018, from an oversized LG building affecting passage of the Highland Stewardship Act, protecting the Pine Barrens, preventing the erection of billboards along the parkway, and numerous other safety and beautification projects. And whereas the early Federation organized traveling libraries and established town libraries, with 75% being founded by women's clubs, and whereas education for women was and still is a priority, as evidenced by the founding of the New Jersey College for Women, Douglas College, in 1918, buying outright various buildings, donating scholarships and fellowships for 100 years, as well as sponsoring Girls Career Institute for high school juniors at Douglas College for 72 years, and providing scholarships to individual high schools through the efforts of local clubs. And whereas the Federation supports local charities as well as special state projects of the administration, the current state project is supporting court-appointed special advocates for children, CASA of New Jersey, by raising awareness, money, and donating in-kind materials. And whereas the GFWC, Apacon Women's Club, and the entire Federation, after 125 years, has much to celebrate on November 16, 2019, a proud legacy. A shining future will continue to make a difference while addressing the challenge of the future. And now, therefore, I, Michael Francis, Mayor of the Borough of Apacon, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim December 6, 2019 as NJSWC Day in Apacon, and recognize the work of the outstanding women across the state, especially here in Apacon, as they improve the quality of life for all residents in our borough and state. Thank you. A lot of the stuff that women's clubs do, we take for granted. The thing in here about the libraries and books, who would have thunk at that time? But there was always a concern for making our community better, our kids better, and our quality of life better. And it was the women's club that did that. So that's significant. And so would anybody like to speak? Come on up.
Cindy, why don't you come up with me, too?
Come on up.
Thank you.
That's all right. Somebody told me you're not bad at that.
I'm not bad at that. I can talk.
I'm Pat Beatrice and Cindy Maronese, and we're co-presidents of the Apacon Women's Club. And I just want to take a moment to thank all of you who are here, who have supported some of our fundraising and collections that have gone on through our club. Right now, we're doing Souls for Souls, and it's out in the lobby of Box. We're looking for slightly, used shoes. They're going to be rehabbed and given to people who need them. We're collecting here until at the Township Hall and at the Wellness Center until December 16th. So if you go through your closet, if you have any shoes, we'd be glad to have them and pass them on. Yes, we have.
The work we can do with the food pantry is also important.
Yes.
And it just keeps going on, and you've been doing that for a while.
Yes.
And you do it for so long that people just think it's just normal. And the food thing out there where you collect the food, it's just like it belongs there. So the point is that it's always there. It always has food in it, and the generosity of our people in town, shows when you go down to it. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
So thank you. And we have one more. This proclamation, the Borough of Apacon proclamation supporting participation in the Sustainable New Jersey Municipal Certification Program. Whereas a sustainable community seeks to optimize quality of life for its residents by ensuring that its environmental, economic, and social objectives are balanced and mutually supportive. Whereas the Borough of Paccon strives to save tax dollars, assure clean land, air, and water, improve working and living environments, as steps to building a sustainable community that will thrive well into the new century. And whereas the Borough of Paccon hereby acknowledges that the residents of Paccon desire a stable, sustainable future for themselves and future generations. And whereas the Borough of Paccon wishes to support a model of government which benefits our residents now and far into the future by exploring and adopting sustainable, economically sound local government practices. And whereas by endorsing a sustainable path, the Paccon is pledging to educate itself and community members further about sustainable activities and to develop initiatives supporting sustainable local government practices. And whereas as elected representative of Paccon, we have a significant responsibility to provide leadership which will seek community-based sustainable solutions to strengthen our community. Now, therefore, I, Michael Francis, Mayor of the Borough of Paccon, do hereby authorize Jewel Gorman, the Paccon Green Team, to serve as the Paccon's agent for Sustainable Jersey Municipal Certification process, and authorize her to complete the municipal registration on behalf of the Paccon this December 4th, 2019. Thank you. Come on up.
I have something for you. Can the other members of our green team come join me?
Come on up. Come on, Green Team, get up here.
How about we have some members on the council show?
Oh, don't hide behind me.
Well, thank you, Mayor Francis and council members. On behalf of the Environmental Commission Green Team, we thank you for this proclamation of your support of our efforts to attain Sustainable Jersey accreditation. We're very proud to represent Paccon in acquiring this certification through sustainable actions accomplished with your support and the help of borough staff. We stand out as one of 3 towns in Sussex County and one of 212 in New Jersey that have received Sustainable Jersey certifications. At this time, we would like to present you with Paccon's Sustainable Jersey Award plaque updated with the bronze certification we received in Atlantic City for achievement in 2019. This year, we gained another 110 points in the bronze level, bringing us to 260 certified points and putting us well on the way to our 2020 goal of silver status at 350 points. We thank all who helped to make this possible, and we look forward to bringing you silver next year. I want to say a special thank you to Ron Tappan, who was so supportive in our efforts, and this team behind me is great. Okay, so thank you very much.
They're not half bad at decorating trees.
That's very. they were hard at work this weekend.
Yes, they were. So we're going to continue working on this, and I work with the Environmental Commission and the Green Team, and some of the things we're looking at, for example, is in the future putting in electric car charging stations. We're actually looking at an electric car, and we want to set that example for other communities. It's not a real big deal to some, but it is to us, because every little step we take to protect our environment, to do things, especially the lake, but the whole town is very important. It really ensures the future of our town, environmentally healthy, and that also makes us healthy in other aspects too, because we gain a lot of information, we can manage better. For example, we just did the energy audit. We're waiting for results on that. That will enable us to invest in some, with the state's help, of course, switching over, for example, all LED lights, looking at other energy saving methodologies that the state can help us with. So the Green Team and the Environmental Commission, they do all of this. It's just not us. They do a lot of work. The rain gardens, the rain garden by the Civic Center. That wasn't a 10-minute job. I mean, that took a couple of years.
That was, and our
But-
DPW was a great help
And
there.
so the thing is that they just keep working on it and working on it. And of course, there's no instant things that happen. And so the rain gardens were really an exercise in patience, and we just didn't give up, and they're done. And so we'll continue to do that. And so anything that we can do, we think out of the box a little bit. I'm okay with that. And we're going to keep on, and hopefully we can get to that silver. I would love that.
We will.
We will,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
You know, Mr. Mayor, we love working together. Everybody gets along so well.
Yep.
Right? And it makes it a lot of fun.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you.
And we'll
Important part.
we'll put that in our trophy thing. 'Cause
Yes,
that's
please.
That's a real trophy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Put that right up there like that. Where are we? Okay, proclamation. One part's over. Now we're gonna go to committee reports. Don, we'll start with you.
Okay. At the Community and Wellness Center, it's been very busy with the Giving Tree. Both people that have reached out that would like a little bit of help for Christmas, and also people that want to donate. It's been in equal measure on both sides. We have a lot of very generous people in Hopatcong, and it just never ceases to amaze me that people step up in this town for everything. So the Giving Tree will see its completion on December 21st. All the gifts will be in by then, and our own mayor will be Santa Claus, and we'll get all those gifts out. There's no little kids watching this meeting.
Supposed to give away them things.
There's no little kids. So, and then another thing that I'm really proud of, we had our first presentation on the dangers of vaping, and it was very well received. It was well attended. A lot of information was given, and we've had a request for more such meetings. So we do have another presentation on the dangers of vaping in January. So if you watch, if you happen to follow the Hopatcong Community Wellness Center on Facebook, or if you follow the Hopatcong Borough website, you can track those dates, as we will be publicizing it fairly early. And I think for right now, that's pretty much it. We're still going with Souls to Souls. That'll be there at the center as well. Our coat drive is going extremely well. Again, the generosity of people, the most beautiful coats, and people that are coming in needing coats, they're astounded as well by how well we take care of each other in this town. So say what you want, but when we hit a wall, we come out for each other, and I'm seeing that more than ever at the community center. So I think that's it for now. Thanks.
Brett?
Mayor, going back to the last meeting, we didn't have the committee report, so I'm going to go back to just a little bit and hit on November the 16th. And I just want to thank Kathy Million and her crew. They had the senior winter dance at St. Jude's, and that was well attended. And I think everybody had a great time that was there. Getting now into December, of course, now we ramp up a lot of different events. This coming on the 11th at 11 a.m. at the Elks Club, the Seniors Incorporated will have their annual Christmas party, and that will be that is restricted to Seniors Inc. However, on the 19th, again under the auspices of Kathy Million and the Rec Commission, the Senior Christmas Luncheon. I'll call it the extravaganza. It's almost like a wedding, which is held at the Meadowwood Manor at 11 a.m. That is already filled with 185 people. So that's a great event, and Lastly, I'd just like to thank the DPW because of the outstanding job I believe they've done this snowfall. I've seen some heads shake yes, I've not seen any say no, so hopefully they're doing the right thing. And they do a great job. Thanks.
Good. Okay, so just going back to the actual agenda and stuff, just want to, obviously, we skipped over the auction properties. We're not going to do auctions tonight. That's next meeting on the 18th. So again, I'd like to talk about the senior holiday dance. That would be really a lot of fun. And I just want to thank all the volunteers that helped out. It was really nice to see everyone come out and help serve food and set up and take down and everything. So it was very nice. I'd also like to, this is sort of a little old because we missed it last time. I'd like to congratulate the Opakon Drama Club. These guys put on a great play, A Coney Island Christmas, and I just want to congratulate them. Next year, there's a musical coming up and then another drama coming, and you guys should definitely go out and see it. It's really, they're great shows. Also, congratulations again on the Bronze Award. You guys, the Environmental Committee and the Green Team have worked so hard on this. This is fabulous. One of the things Mike mentioned about trying to switch over lights to LED, just want to let people know that there are some street lights out on Lakeside Boulevard coming up here. And one of the reasons that they're out is because the DPW is slowly trying to find the right LED light to put back in and get rid of the ballast type of light to save energy and to update the fixtures. And that's it.
Thank you. John? Thank you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Women's Club, the Environmental Commission, and the high school marching band. And I want to say about the marching band, it's been an honest pleasure of mine to watch the band grow for the last dozen years or so. And anyone who finds themselves kind of in a bad mood, or maybe if you're the type of person that's in a perpetual bad mood, find a band event and go to it and just watch the band members, because their joy for life is infectious. It really is. Even if a simple thing like a car wash, you sit there and wait in line and you can't help but be amused. They are a great bunch of young people. Like I said, it's been a pleasure to watch them grow, and I congratulate them as well. Having said that, recreation, basketball has started their practices. They start in December. The games start after the holidays in January. Street hockey, actually that was on the last agenda. We approved the street hockey fee for next year, which is the same as it was before. This past season, there was no fall street hockey. There wasn't enough interest. This coming Friday, December 6th, is the Opakon Recreation Commission movie night at the high school auditorium at 6:30. The movie is Toy Story 4. There will be Santa Claus there, Mrs. Claus. They give out ornaments to the children, as well as they have snacks for them. Unfortunately, the tree lighting, which was scheduled for this past Sunday, had to be canceled because of weather. I don't know if that's actually going to be rescheduled because it's such a busy schedule in December. Moving on to open space. Open Space Committee had a meeting since our last report. We didn't take any official actions. We had more conversation. We kind of reviewed some of the past expenditures from the open space in the town. We're just trying to get a feel for where we want to go. So we reviewed a lot of the past expenditures, and we had a little more conversation about what we think might be two possibilities for things we might want to get into in the future. And one would be forest management of perhaps some of our natural area preserve. And the other topic that's come up several times in environmental commission meetings is the dog park. That's a possibility too. Those are both, fall well in line with open space. So that's what we talked about. Environmental commission, at the last meeting, we had our poster contest winners. Our first place winner was Amela Saito. Or Cito, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Emily, I'm sorry. Emily. Okay. Third time's a charm. Her theme was "Don't be bitter, don't drop litter," and the second place winner was Michaela Murray. Her theme was "Be a litter quitter." They were both nice posters. And the theme thoughts are always positive. We had conversation. We may be doing free trees next year, which originally we thought last year was going to be the last year, but I guess the state found either found some money or found some trees. I'm not sure which. We had conversation about the lake and the recent visit from our governor and his announcement of monies that he's put into things that hopefully will help this area. Our beautification committee, it's a subcommittee of the Environmental Commission. If you notice the small trees in front of the building, the two larger trees as you walk in, and the lights on the pavilion outside, those are all the responsibility of the beautification committee from the Environmental Commission. I think it's great, just trying to put everybody in a festive mood, so kudos to them. And again, Sustainable Jersey, I'm not even going to mention that because we already did that. Municipal Alliance. We had our first movie night of the winter season on November 15th. It was pretty well attended. The movie was Dumbo. Trying to get through my notes here. We talked about doing another cybersecurity seminar in the schools, and last year we did it in the school, and we also had a session after school for the parents. We had talked about doing that again. We're conversation about Girls on the Run getting started again for the spring, and Hero Boys. Hero Boys just finished not too long ago. They did their last 5K up in Sussex County. Our local anti-drug county poster winner was Ryan O'Sullivan. His anti-drug prescription, if you call it, is running. He's on the cross-country team and such forth, so he had a poster about his anti-drug was running. We also had conversation about bringing back the Safe House pamphlet. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it's a pamphlet that people volunteer to have their home put on the list. It's kind of like a networking thing. If people can look at if their children want to go visit another friend, and they can look at that pamphlet and see that those parents have guaranteed that there's no alcohol or drugs at that home. That's a few years ago since we've done that. We had conversation about doing that again. We also, as Dawn mentioned, we partnered with the Health and Wellness Center and Officer Still on that vaping seminar that was just done on November 21st. It was very, very informative. When we do it again, I encourage everybody to go. And on the resolution, on the agenda tonight, there's a resolution for the grant money to be approved for the 2021 year. And we have our next movie coming up December 20th. That's also a Friday. I'm not sure if we finalized our pick on the movie, but one of the candidates was Emmett Otter's Jug Band, if you remember that. That's quite old and quite cute. So that might wind up being the movie. I'm not really sure. And that's it.
Thank you, John. All right. I'm going to call on Scott Wallace to give a report from the Fire Rights Committee.
Good evening, Mayor Francis. Thank you, Councilman Smith. As many of you may not know, a lot of new faces. I'm Scott Wallace. I'm the local district fire warden from the New Jersey Forest Fire Service, right? So around 2004, 2005, we started the Firewise program in Opakon. It was a national program that was really picked up in California from the wildfires. It was developed out in Boise, Idaho, in the fire science lab to help the homeowners protect their houses in the absence of the fire department. What happens is these fires grow so big that we can only manage our personnel to certain houses. Unfortunately, if your house falls within the limits of being unprotected, haven't been in those positions out west in those fires, to walk away from somebody's livelihood, So what happens is Firewise teaches the homeowners how to create defensible space. So by raking your leaf stuff, and the whole thing when we started this, Hopatcon residents were already doing it. Hopatcon was already doing it. They just didn't know it. The recycling center, which many of us have been there on the weekends, you know, we're dumping our leaves and our brush there. That you don't know the magnitude of protection that actually gives the borough. When we started this program, the fire department ran on a rough numbers, probably about 30 brush fires a year, which equates to probably 14%. You know, people don't realize that, you know, brush fire, not a big deal. But a lot of the causes were misplaced fireplace ashes. They're cleaning out their fireplace, especially in October or November evening. They come home, they want to light the fire. They take their ashes out, they put it in their compost piles, their leaf piles at the edge of their properties. The embers in there are still warm. They start a fire. They're done cooking dinner. They see this bright light in their backyard, and they go, "Oh my God!" So what happens there is, okay, so some leaves, but people were putting fences in. We got sheds in. The PVC fences were coming into place at the time, and they were all sustaining catastrophic damage. You know, even a chain link fence with vinyl coated, you know, you don't think it's a big deal, but when you're looking at non-vinyl coated to vinyl coated, you know, there's a money issue. When that stuff burns off, it's like, well, I just wasted my money, you know. So thankfully, most of the properties all fared well. Fire department has a quick response. Forest Fire Service has a quick response to the township. And since then, the numbers have substantially dropped. Not only in fires from misplaced fireplace ashes, but just brush fires in general. We don't run the magnitudes of calls anymore that we used to run. And like I said, you know, a lot of it's all education. It's just bringing awareness that we're just not cleaning our yards to make it nice and not have to worry about the leaves, but we're also creating that space so that maybe not our property, but our neighbors, you know, have an unfortunate mishap and it, you know, brings damage to our homes and neighbors' homes. So it's something that you may not have heard of before because I keep it low key. You know, it's not something that, you know, I also have to have the distinct opportunity to manage the campfire permits, right? So, you know, so I try to do it through education, not necessarily through strict enforcement. Everybody wants to have a campfire. We want to have fires in our yards. It's all about being safe and making sure that we're not, you know, we're not going to have an issue. So we keep it low key. We just take it, you know, take advantage of the opportunities on Saturdays. I've been down there numerous hours handing out pamphlets over the course of the last 14, 15, 19 years, you know. So it's been really good, and I've seen there every year, the piles just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that, you know, people are using it, and you just go, like I said, you go there any Saturday, you know, the amount of trips that people go there with, it's just amazing. So with that, you know, as easy as it may sound, because nobody's really managing it, there are some, you know, it's December, January coming, so it's the start of the new year. There are some things that just happened. You know, we did have some early conversations trying to get this going, and everybody's time is very busy. Maybe if we can get some free time in the next month or two, you could sit down with, you know, whoever wants to talk about it, because there are some things we need to do. Hopatcon, just like all these other outstanding achievements, is recognized, has been recognized nationally. So we, you know, I strive all the time to maintain that dignity for our town, you know, keep us on the map and make these strides. So we have to, there's some management issues we need to do through the National Firewise to keep us registered. So, you know, a lot of the issues, it's just not issues, but we have to prove how much money we're spending. You know, it's like $2 per capita. So as long as, you know, with the operations of the leaf pickup and all these other things, I'm sure we're already doing it. There's no extra money that needs to happen. So it's just a matter of just having a record keeping and sending it over to the Firewise people, which I think are now managed by the NFPA up in Quincy, Massachusetts. So that's really easy to do. You know, and now we're into the winter time, so snow's on the ground, not much is going to happen. But be warned that when the snow is gone, wintertime, the air is typically drier, and it's easier for the leaves to dry out with a little bit of wind. So, you know, the fires could happen. I managed the Smokey Bear sign both at the State Park and Howard Boulevard. So we did have an issue one time back around 2001 where we had some pretty extreme fire dangers. And people thought that that was a DEFCON sign. So for a while there, we kind of leave it low. We kind of know manage it. But when you start to see it move up, you know, it has 5 levels: low, moderate, high, very high, and extreme. If that sign's moving up, you can be sure that, you know, we're in a spell. I haven't moved it much because, you know, in like 2 days we're getting rain. So by the time I go down there and move it and then and go back there, you know, we're jumping it up and down, and we don't want to give the impression that, you know, the thing is like, you know, constantly changing. We want, you know, if we move it, we want to make sure that people are aware that it's going to be like that for a little bit of time. But like I said, you know, give it Councilman Smith, you know, we can work on this thing and just keep it packing good. I just do want to make another note, if I can, please, about the marching band and the Smokey Bear thing. So Smokey Bear turned 75 this year, and they were doing this big birthday celebration. So they were looking for entertainment to do this. So the band has been recognized. People have seen them. So, you know, they're like, well, can they do the Smokey Bear song? So under the, you know, the director, Kurt Zimmerman, amazing what he could do. I don't want to say kids, because if you look at them, they're really young adults now. So they took a piece that was from 1958 campfire song that was done on a guitar and turned it into a, you know, they had 6, 7 different instruments strumming this, playing the song. It caught the attention of the Smokey Bear people down in Washington, D.C., and they have reached out and talked about some other things for it. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed, and that will, again, be another thing that Hopakon has produced.
They are special.
I'm going to interject a question there. Wasn't it Alyssa, the drum major, that actually wrote that orchestration? It
Um,
wasn't Kurt, it was Alyssa.
Very possible. I'm sure that, you know, but you know, you have to give some credit for Mr. Zimmerman, because he has, in his 7-8 years here, has created something that we all should be proud of, just to hear them. So, but he turned the heads, and people down the state are just like, we're amazed. Some people were even brought to tears when they heard the song, because they're just like, oh my God, no, you know, it was really good. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice service. Okay, other committee reports. Not the last Sussex County League of Municipalities meeting, but the one before that. We actually had a gentleman come and speak to us about the upcoming census. Next year's the census. There was a gentleman coming in, basically he was from the census and he was looking for workers. There are census jobs, temporary, available, starting now and going into next year. And we actually, I sent the information over to Ron. He's put it on our website. If anybody's looking for part-time work, the hours are flexible. The pay's really good, $21 an hour. If you look at the left-hand column of our website all the way down to the bottom, there's a description and a link to go sign up for that and to get more information. So that's on our website, and that's from the Sussex County League of Municipalities, or I should say, the census guy that came to visit us at that meeting. I was at Chamber of Commerce Employer Legislative Committee meeting, and John Connolly from the Sussex County Community College came and spoke, and he talked about the new football and wrestling programs that are going on up there. They also have an electrical line worker program that they're introducing, in addition to all of the things they're doing over at the McGuire building, which is the culinary and the welding and all of that stuff. He also they've got an agreement with the College of New Jersey and with St. John's to introduce a 4-year program, because it's a 2-year college. But if you join the county college in the honors program for your first 2 years, you're automatically enrolled in your choice of either of those two schools for a 4-year degree, and you transfer right up. So John Connolly was talking about things that are going on over there. Oh boy, I've got a list. Chamber of Commerce stuff. Okay, yeah, we're getting into the holiday season. There's a lot of meetings coming up. Most of it is next week. Actually, tomorrow, we'll start with tomorrow. The holiday business after hours meeting is from 5 to 7 at Verona Farms tomorrow evening. Our December B2B breakfast is at the Lafayette House next Tuesday morning at 7:30. The Women Business meeting is Thursday the 12th at Project Self-Sufficiency. That's in the evening at 6:30. And our next Chamber of Commerce meeting is next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, Friday the 13th at 8 a.m. at the Route 206 Diner, which was formerly known as the Andover Diner and had a remake. Getting into January, there's a seminar being held by one of our Chamber of Commerce members about outsmarting the scammers. That's going to be held over at the library on Sparta Stanhope Road, the Louise Childs Library. That's Thursday, January 23rd at 6:30 p.m. And that covers all of my committee.
Thank you. Frank, you're up.
Very short. Sewer rate study is complete, it's published, it's out there. The last meeting we did the public, and that was basically about it.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So many.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote, welcome public.
Hearing about quality of life, my quality of life went downhill. Bill Donegan can't help me, the police can't help me, and they told me to come here. And the problem is, and then even speaking about LED lights, across the street on Carteret, 3 houses down, they put in these powerful LED floodlights shining right into my house. It's about 150 feet away. I approached them the Monday before Halloween to bring it to their attention. And they originally were using it, they have 4 boxes, and they were originally letting the dogs in the yard for however long. And after I asked them to please lower it down onto your own property, they were keeping it on all night long. So you try to be a good neighbor, you try to resolve the problem, and they come back and bust your chops. Okay? I went to Bill Donegan. I went to pay, I don't know, sewer bill taxes 11-1. Bill says he can't help me. There is no residential ordinance for lighting. If it was a commercial building, he could help me. He could have that commercial building, tell them, lower the floodlight. Okay? So he suggested I talk to them again. I did. I got nowhere. I called the police, and out of frustration, I called the police. Because to me now, this is harassment. They're literally making my life miserable. Because I would like to ask every one of you, how would you like to? I have 3 small windows in my kitchen door. I come in and out of my kitchen door. I have a ranch with a deck on the side. Right before it gets dark, I have to lower my level or blinds and take a towel with clothespins and put a towel up so that I could block some of it. Now, when I go onto my deck to either walk the dog or let the dog take last week's, okay, it's like this. So I'm here begging you. I'm begging you to help me. I don't know what else to do. The police told me they can, I said, look, if it's a slow night, could you please have a cop just come by so he could see? I took pictures. Pictures do nothing. You can't, it's like taking a picture of the moon, okay? You can't, you just can't
You have an address
see it.
that you're talking about, the actual
This
address?
is what it looks like, okay? You can take my camera and pass it around. They said there is no ordinance to enforce them to lower the floodlight.
You have an address for that house?
7 Carteret. So ironically, tonight, the house is completely dark. Because Sunday morning, they have a ring. I went in front and stood in front of their ring and invited them to come tonight. Be a man. Come and stand in front of the council with me and explain to them how you can't lower your floodlight. The house was completely dark today. So it was ironic that you talked about quality of life and LEDs. These LED floodlights, I looked them up online. They are very, very powerful. I'm talking 150 feet. It comes into my kitchen, into my living room. And it, ironically, you could see the level or blind streaks along my wall. So my only recourse is to put up a towel. 3 times I have asked them, and 3 times I get nowhere. So here I have to come tonight and beg. I'm begging.
Would you leave us your contact information?
It's KOS,
Don't
LOS.
say it public, record, don't say it public.
I don't care.
I do.
You could look it up.
No, I do, so write it down.
And
Write down your phone number, we can reach you at, and your address, please, and spell
Okay.
in that last name.
okay,
All right.
because it's just. And the other thing is, you made me think of Mary Tackus.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. No, that's, write down your contact information for us, okay?
So do you think you could help me?
Well, let's, we'll take a look at it, I'll work with our attorney and see what we can find. And maybe this is a case where we have to take a look at our ordinances for nuisances. If that's what it is, we have to look into it. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I can't afford a smartphone, so I only have a house phone.
That's
But,
okay, listen, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask my attorney, which I just did, to look into our ordinances such as nuisances. Such as someone trying to enlighten your eyes, and see if we have an ordinance that addresses that. If not, then let's take a look at what we can do. Meanwhile, I'll ask some of the other council people, we're not gonna tell you, but we'll ride by there and we'll observe what's going on.
let's just
And so-
hope that, they know I'm here today. They know it.
Well, good, maybe
So maybe
they'll.
they'll be good for 5 days, maybe 6 days.
I'll periodically, I'm always out around and about town, that's why you won't find me in the office.
You
I'll
know,
just take a ride.
just to let you know, even during the day, you could, if you're standing on my deck, you're more than welcome to come on my property. You stand on my deck, you could see how that floodlight
Well-
is directly coming.
Give us an opportunity to look into it, okay?
Okay, I appreciate,
Thank you.
I mean, on a simple thing, if we have a commercial, 'cause I like Mr. Donegan, okay? He really
He's good.
tried to help me.
Yes, he does.
He said if it was commercial, so maybe something as simple as adding residential to it.
Let us look into it,
Okay. Thank
all
you.
right?
Thanks for coming.
Name your phone.
Oh,
Your account.
More public?
Good evening, Council. My name is Jeffrey Oakes from Promotionport, New Jersey. I came here a long way tonight. I'm not well. I'm quite sick. I have stage 4 cancer. But I came up here to address the council's need for for information on cannabis. I happen to be one of the foremost advocates in the medical cannabis program that fits almost over probably 70,000 patients now. And I've publicly spoken at countless meetings along with my friend Lefty here and the group that we work with. It's called Sativa Cross. We have an extensive amount of patients in our group that speak all over, and many of us in the group are responsible for some of the improvements in the medical program that we know now as Jake's Law. I myself advocated publicly for unlimited monthly amounts for patients with terminal cancer. That's what I am tonight, standing before you here. Excuse me, a little winded. Very emotional. In my experience traveling around the state, I've seen a lot of stigma associated with cannabis and the legalization of it. Which piece of marijuana is medical and which piece is recreational. But when you take it into your system, it doesn't do anything different to you because it's medical or recreational. It has the same medical benefits. Not like alcohol. There is no real medical benefit to binge drinking alcohol. So we advocate for cannabis. We advocate for the legalization of it, for it to be normalized at least, even if it's only for medical. It can be normalized to relieve our communities of the extensive problem of opioids, which I know you guys had a presentation of some folks from the addiction services, and I can tell you as a patient and as an advocate and from my standpoint as a patient, some of these addiction services, everybody that is at the table has skin in the game. They make their living off of what? Getting people off of opioids. So they don't want people on medical cannabis like myself that are opioid free for the most part. I just started using it because the amount of pain that I'm in. I use a 0.5 oxycodone with the medical cannabis that I can't afford. But because of the public stigma, which I don't know if it exists in this council, I would hope that it doesn't. We as patients, we struggle with the cost. We're disabled. We can't work. We don't have any money. It's not covered by insurance. Thankfully, workers' compensation in New Jersey has started to cover it. And I'm hoping that my workers' comp claim will go through. And that I can be part of the process of seeing it cannabis become a common theme in health, as similar as an aspirin would be for pain, and a safe alternative to opioids. I don't know where the council stands. I know you're looking for information. I stand here before you as probably the foremost patient, like I said, in the program, and I invite any questions that you may have. And I know you have some issues, and rightly so, with vaping, and I'm glad that you had a presentation here. But please remember, the people that you're hearing from, they have a skin in the game. These are people that are in addiction services coming to talk about vape pens. This is what I use for my cancer. It has a little battery in it, not a battery, but it charges, a little phone charger. Cannabis oil, high potency goes in the end. There's no vitamin E oil. The issue with vaping is the vitamin E oil. Most of us that have studied the issue, we pretty much know that by now. So I also advocate for safe vaping. Instead of telling our kids vaping is bad, let's tell them the right way to do it. Because you know what? Kids vape too. You want to know why? Because they're in the medical marijuana program. So we just shouldn't lie to our kids. We should tell them the truth about what cannabis is about and the potential that it has. Many of us say, well, we need more study. What more do we need? We did studies in 1976, I think, in the Medical University of Virginia. And they were looking for bad things from cannabis. You know what they found? They found that it reduces the size of the tumors, the federal government. And the woman that spoke here, I don't know her name, she has blonde hair. She made a perfect presentation of what the cannabinoid system is and how we're related to it biophysically and what it means to us to be associated with these cannabinoids. And the reason we see illness or so much illness is dietary deficiency. Guess what? If we don't use cannabis, our body makes cannabinoids, whether we like it or not. And if we don't have the proper nutrition to convert to cannabinoids, we're toast. You want to worry about something? Forget about cannabis. Worry about the bees. Because if we don't have bees, we're all dead. What else? Does anyone have any questions? Because I think I can help people.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. Thank you. Appreciate it.
My name is Edward Grimes from East Hanover. I advocate for sick and dying people. In the Bible, it says that's what we're supposed to do. I know you've all read the Bible. I don't need to come from East Hanover to tell you about the Bible. You're supposed to put the last first and the first last. And I see a lot of very little compassion from our government all over the state when it comes to people in wheelchairs and people on cannabis. And they go hand in hand because a lot of people that are in wheelchairs need cannabis. A lot of people in cannabis world need wheelchairs. And I know you said you want to separate the issue between medical and recreational. I appreciate that because it's very important. But I'm not really here for recreational. I'm here for patients that are sick and dying that need it, like Jeff. The problem is when you say not in my town, how far do you want someone in a wheelchair to go? Because these people in wheelchairs have no money. They're on disability like me. They have no ride. To get a ride somewhere, it's a big deal. So you have to think about people in wheelchairs first, not last. And we need to do that soon. I do a podcast at the State House, and at the end of our podcast, there's a list. The first person on our list, his name is Cheryl Miller. Jim Miller used to push his wife around in a bed. She had multiple sclerosis, and she couldn't move her arms or legs. And she actually fought from her bed. They pushed her around to Bob Andrews' office. They pushed her around to Washington. She fought with her head. That's all she could fight with. And she knew she would never see medical cannabis in her lifetime. She still fought, just like Jeff fights. And she still fought for us. And that's the reason why she's on our list. She's the first person that's on our list because she's the reason we have medical cannabis in New Jersey. If you Google her, you'll find out. Sabina Rose was a 15-month-old baby here in Hopatcong. She lived here in Hopatcong. I don't know if you heard her name. It's Sabina Rose Joanna. 15-month baby, year-old baby. 15-month-old baby died from a 25-hour seizure. I don't know if I can ever handle a 25-minute seizure. This baby had a 25-hour seizure and died in her mother's arms. And this ordinance that you would put in place for banning medical would put more hoops in front of these families, more obstacles for them to overcome when they have enough.
We don't have an ordinance.
I know, but you're considering an ordinance, or you're considering what to do.
Recreation.
For recreation, okay, I
Get that
appreciate
straight.
that. Good, thank you. That's very important.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
very important because medical, we need medical cannabis. I'm a medical patient myself. I have a fusion, L4, L5, artificial disc, L5S1. I had a 2-level cervical fusion back in January. I used zero opiates because I use medical cannabis. Oils, suppositories, it helps, it worked. Diandra Patella, Lou Gehrig's disease. Gracie, Cindy May, Marie, Jack, Joan Ford, who grew up in the 40s with epilepsy. The nuns used to throw holy water on Joan when she'd have her seizure, but they didn't know. They didn't know. They thought she was possessed by the devil. Poor girl's having a seizure, and they didn't know any better back then. Randy Robertson, he had the Whipple procedure. You know what the Whipple procedure is? When you have cancer and they rip out every one of your organs. Every one of his organs. But they wouldn't give him cannabis in Pennsylvania. They wouldn't give him cannabis until after they ripped out all his organs. Then they gave him cannabis. A lot of times they'll do brain surgeries on children before they give them cannabis too. Holly Connolly, Bill Buckman, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy from pancreatic cancer, Roy, Russ Perry, Roger Barber, who fought for his daughter Jenny to use her medicine in school because mother had to go to school and actually take time off from work, go to the school, pick up her daughter, bring her across the 3,000 feet away, then give her the medicine. The girl's autistic. She thought she was going home. No way to treat sick and dying people as Christians. Jay Oleto, Ella Bagelman, Hattie Koshel, Jackie Rickard, Anthony J. Koenig, little kid, 10 years old with cancer. He said to the doctor, I don't want a wheelchair. I want to walk to the operating table. And that's what he did. He walked. He walked. Yeah. He walked up there. He said, fix me, Doc. But they couldn't fix Jake. He died, too. All the people on this list are dead, by the way. Alicia Armando. Armando had spine cancer, tailbone cancer. Lynn, Dan, Marine vet Sean McKay, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, my brother-in-law Frank. This year in June, I was rebaptized in Liquid Church, and that night Frank overdosed on fentanyl. So I talk about Frank because I didn't do enough to help Frank. I played defense. I put cameras on my house. I locked all my doors to keep him from robbing me, but I didn't do enough to reach out and help him like I should have. And I'm gonna have to live with that. I was scared. When you see somebody in an active addiction, you want to help them, but at the same point, you don't want to hurt yourself, and that's what was happening. But that wasn't Christian. I should have done more. I should have kept going. I didn't do enough.
You're almost.
Lauren, Terry, Michael Dillon. Drop seizure. Michael Dillon died cracking drop. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Thank you. More public? Hearing none. Come on.
Meeting wouldn't be complete without hearing from me.
Welcome, Dave.
David Harris. Could you please tell us what I is under resolutions? What is that?
Oh, that's the redevelopment area, Hudson Mackin School.
That's what?
Including the school and
Yeah, Hudson Mackin School in the redevelopment area.
Oh, that's what. On the town, is the pound open for the public? I mean,
Shelter.
Shelter, I'm sorry. Shelter. Okay, the shelter.
If Jan is there, sure.
Oh, hours of operations are on the thing.
And when are they?
You got the days of the week and the hours that they're open.
I see. And approximately, are there a lot of animals there?
Not many.
One
dog.
Well, we got cats, and they're great. I go visit them all the time.
I have 4 cats already.
So if you want a fifth cat, want a fifth? Or
I
want a fifth cat, there's one for you.
I want a fifth, thank you. One other question. The animal control officer, I received a report on her activities for last month or the month before. I noticed she went to Sparta and she went to Newton. Are we involved with these other communities?
Yeah, we do share services.
I see, so they pay us for our officer going there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you
They
very
do.
much.
And sometimes it's mutual support, if it's, even if we don't have a shared service, if a town gets in trouble and they need and Gianna is a enforcement officer.
Right.
And so, she replaced the ASPCA, if you will. And so if the town gets in trouble and they ask us for help, we're gonna help them. As any enforcement officer would.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening.
Heather Fury, 312 Windsor Avenue. I have a question, but I don't know if it might be for you. The Mariners Point, is that 75% or more sold? The only reason I ask is because they're voting on releasing the performance bond. You need to know that. Then it means that it wasn't turned over to the association of homeowners.
The engineer makes the recommendation when the improvements, when the performance part of the bond is done, to go to the maintenance bond. He made the recommendation, I don't know.
So there's a maintenance bond as well. It's
Performance
still,
bond, and there's a maintenance bond.
well, yeah, I just want to make sure that there's a maintenance bond there. How much is the maintenance bond?
I don't know.
Rough idea.
No idea.
And that one's still in place.
That, when the performance bond goes out, the maintenance bond comes in.
Okay. Thank you.
Public. Welcome.
Council. I've actually lived in this town here for about a year. I just wanted to come before you just to express a couple of things. I'm also with these individuals here with the medical marijuana program. But I'm not going to take much of your time. I lived for a small period of time after I exited the United States military in San Diego, California. There, I was able to, with a couple of doctors, deal with some things that I didn't otherwise seem to be able to cope with. Not only referring to PTSD, but some other things that I just keep to myself. And this changed my life, and I never became a daily user. I think you just, if you're going to see the faces of cannabis, I'd like for you to see this one. One of an honorable Navy veteran, resident of Utah.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Sanjay Chaudhary. I'm a homeowner in Betcong. I have a home at 2 Elizabeth Place. I'm not with Sativa Cross, but I know Sativa Cross. I'm also a patient, a medical cannabis patient in this state, and I heard some of the statements after the last meeting that I believe you made, Mayor, saying that if the state legalized, that you would look to put a ban on it or to reverse
Recreational marijuana.
on recreational.
Correct.
I think for some people we don't really differentiate medical and recreational. I know there is a difference, but part of what we're trying to change. I'm with the Cannabis Wars Alliance. We're working to sort of change end the stigmas and some of the atrocities that have happened because of the war on cannabis. Even the word that we use for it, most people use the word marijuana, but the reason it is marijuana, which is a Spanish word for cannabis, is because in 1937, when it was prohibited in this country, they wanted to associate it with the Latino population. So that's why we say marijuana in this country. It was originally linked to that, so a lot of people now say cannabis because that's the scientific word for it. And part of it, even then, just that it was associated with these communities, was just to kind of paint it in a negative way. There's so many things as Americans we have freedoms to do. You can smoke cigarettes that cause cancer. You can drink alcohol that's had a history of domestic violence, physical violence. Cannabis is something that is a plant that's prescribed for dozens of different medical conditions. If you have an endocannabinoid system, everyone does. For some people, we have faulty endocannabinoid systems that don't make enough or don't absorb them efficiently. Most adults and children on the autistic spectrum have faulty cannabinoid systems, which is why the autistic spectrum in Pennsylvania having anxiety in this state is a qualifying condition for it. But our bodies are so closely linked to this cannabis plant that so many of us have such a stigma to cannabis. It's something that, if you're of the religious persuasion God put on earth for all of us to consume, and if you believe in science, evolution sort of links that part of evolution of man is in relation to us consuming cannabis. Our bodies, most of the main organs have, and their cannabinoid receptors, our heart, our brain, our liver, our stomach, and it's so closely linked to our human body. So I think part of it, we need to try to work to just end the racist reasons why marijuana is used in this country, that word, and just try to be more scientific minded. Just for that this is a plant that helps with so many different conditions. As a society, we're wound up with people going into schools shooting, people are just on edge. And I think it's a plant that's a peaceful plant, it's a loving plant, it's a healing plant, it's the flower of a plant, it's not something that can really destroy your body. No one dies from cannabis usage. It's been prescribed as an exit drug from the opiate epidemic in Pennsylvania and now in New Jersey too. There's so many benefits to the plant, so it's really differentiated. Say medical and recreational. Sure, it's recreational or adult use, but it can serve people as a society. We're just wound up, and I think versus the other things that people are allowed to do, drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, it's a beneficial thing to use. So if we can try to look at it from a different state of mind, I think it's easy to do that. Separately, I know you guys are doing a lot about sustainability here. I have a sustainable soil company, Food and Green Soil, and I know Governor Murphy was here about the blooms, the algae blooms in Lake Hopatcong, with a lot of money going into it. I think if you guys were to have more regulations about what lawn treatment people can use on their lawns, it could reduce greatly the amount of the winds that are occurring. This is that occurs from too many phosphates and nitrates in the water, which I know a lot of corporations can use if there are any greenhouses that are using any kind of hydroponic production that uses a lot of wastewater that can cause those kinds of things. But also, even the community using fertilizers it will run off and cause that to happen. So if you were to put in an ordinance not allowing that, and
We got
practice.
it's in place.
Oh, is there? So no one can
We
use
can't
any.
buy it in this store.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good. That's good to know. There are other sustainable things people can do also: composting, community-wide composting, vermicomposting.
We have that too.
Oh yeah, that's good. You guys are composting here, so people can collect their.
You can see the pile of leaves in our recycling.
Oh,
Mountain.
okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it, and I just hope in the future, if cannabis is legalized, we all will just keep an open mind to it.
Thank you for
I know
your
you said the
input.
community.
This is a learning process.
Care for each other. There's a lot to it. It's not just about people getting high. There's a lot of medicine in those plants, and I think can help all of us in one way or another. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More public?